when alien bodyguards witnessed a DeathWorlder Mon lift a vehicle. Prologue: The Cosmic Watchers. In the infinite darkness of space, where civilizations are born, flourish, and fade like momentary sparks against an obsidian canvas, 4 alien observers maintained their eternal vigil over a seemingly insignificant blue-green planet. The Galactic Observation Module represented the pinnacle of technological achievement. A quantum-shielded platform that could analyze entire planetary ecosystems with microscopic precision. Yet, on this particular rotation, its occupants felt nothing but profound, soul-crushing boredom. Krell Voxnar, lead observer of the Xenological Monitoring Collective, adjusted his multi-spectrum sensory implant with a gesture that spoke volumes about his current state of mind. Part mechanical, part biological, entirely exhausted by years of watching what appeared to be the most unremarkable species in the known universe, humans. Another rotation, he muttered, his voice a complex translation that carried undertones of sardonic humor and professional resignation. Monitoring these humans. To his left, Lyra Zenith, chief medical analyst, didn't even look up from her holographic data streams. Her tentacle-like appendages danced across multiple information panels, sorting through centuries of human medical records with the casual efficiency of someone who had long since stopped being impressed by anything. Statistical probability of significant event 0.0003%, she reported, a monotone voice capable of freezing plasma at 50 meters. We might as well be watching molecular restructuring in quantum-level dust particles. Marcos Stella, the tactical specialist, chuckled. It was a sound more reminiscent of a programmed response than genuine humor. Humans, he declared with absolute conviction. The galaxy's most overrated species. Primitive technology. Fragile biological structures. Zero interstellar travel capability. Elena Quantum, the team's xenobiological researcher, remained silent. Her multiple eyes, each capable of perceiving different electromagnetic spectrums, were locked onto the planet's surface, scanning, analyzing, processing. Little did they know that in less than 12 standard galactic hours, everything they thought they understood about humanity would be spectacularly, monumentally wrong. The comprehensive file humans analyzed, the Galactic Peacekeeping Coalition's file on Earth, was remarkable primarily for its stunning mediocrity. A document so thin it could have been mistaken for an administrative afterthought. Marcos pulled up the holographic dossier, which flickered with an almost apologetic transparency. DeathWorld Designation Class 10 Environmental Hazard, he read aloud, each word dripping with sardonic humor. Gravity 1.0. Atmospheric composition 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. Random chemical bombardments they call weather terrain, varying from molten rock to frozen wastelands. Lyra's medical analysis screens burst into a complex array of biological data, cellular representations, genetic mappings, physiological breakdowns that would make most species weep in biological inadequacy. Humans, she began, her voice a clinical dissection. Carbon-based organisms. Typical lifespan 78.5 standard years. Physiological makeup 60% water, 206 skeletal structures, cardiovascular system more fragile than a neutron crystal. She zoomed into a cellular representation, her appendages creating intricate holographic dissections that would make most medical researchers weep with technological envy. Remarkable, she continued, how something so fundamentally breakable continues to survive. No redundant organs, minimal natural defensive capabilities, no exoskeleton, no regenerative healing beyond basic cellular repair. Krell's cybernetic eye rotated through multiple spectrums, each rotation revealing another layer of human biological weakness. They're essentially walking vulnerabilities, he pronounced. No natural armor, no integrated weapon systems, no atmospheric adaptation beyond primitive technological interventions. Elena Quantum's multiple eyes narrowed. Something in the datasets was different. Not conclusive, but interesting. Correction, she murmured, more to herself than her colleagues. Not vulnerabilities, adaptabilities. The others turned a synchronized movement that would have impressed even the most rigorous military drill instructor. Elaborate, Krell demanded. Her holographic displays began rapidly cycling through human historical records. Wars, exploration, technological progression, survival in environments that would liquefy most known sentient species. Humans don't survive despite their vulnerabilities, she explained, her voice gaining an unusual intensity. They survive because of an unprecedented capacity for technological and biological adaptation that defies conventional evolutionary models. Marcos snorted. Philosophical speculation. Show me hard data. The screens exploded with information: humans surviving Arctic temperatures, climbing impossible mountain ranges, diving into ocean depths, exploring radioactive zones, creating technological extensions of their fragile biological forms. They don't have natural armor, Elena continued. They create it. They don't have natural weapons. They engineer them. They don't have environmental adaptation. They redesign environments. A pregnant pause filled the observation deck. Interesting, Krell finally said, but ultimately irrelevant to our current monitoring protocols. If only he knew how spectacularly wrong he was about to be. The setting Maple Grove, a microcosm of human existence. Maple Grove existed as a geographical microcosm that defied simple categorization. Located in suburban Illinois, the region represented a complex intersection of meteorological extremes: scorching summers reaching 38 degrees Celsius, brutal winters plummeting to -23 degrees Celsius, and atmospheric conditions that could transform from serene sunshine to tornado-generating thunderstorms within hours. Elena Martinez's neighborhood represented textbook suburban American engineering: two-story residential structures, strategically placed trees, meticulously maintained grass rectangles masquerading as lawns. At 35 years old, Elena represented what galactic anthropologists would categorize as a standard human maternal unit. Multiple diagnostic scans would later reveal a specimen far from standard. Height 1.68 meters, mass 62.3 kilograms, genetic markers mixed European and Latin American ancestry, occupation local elementary school administrator, dependent offspring 1 male, 6 years of age. But beneath these basic parameters lay a complexity that would soon shatter every known biological understanding. The moment of quantum transformation. The accident materialized with the brutal randomness typical of human environmental interactions. Dylan Martinez, Elena's 6-year-old son, had momentarily escaped parental supervision. A typical childhood behavior that would make most species implement immediate genetic population control protocols. Humans, however, considered such moments learning experiences. The boy's trajectory intersected with a potentially fatal scenario: a delivery truck, operated by a fatigued human driver experiencing what they called a moment of distraction, was rolling backward down a slight incline. Total mass approximately 3,200 kilograms, velocity 4.7 meters per second, collision probability 99.8%, survival probability for a 22-kilogram human child 0.02%. Intervention impossible, Marcos Stella stated clinically. His tactical systems had already calculated the outcome. Child's biomechanical integrity will be catastrophically compromised. Lyra Zenith's medical scanners were already preparing post-incident tissue reconstruction documentation, a routine procedure for documenting human fragility. Elena Quantum's multiple eyes narrowed. Something was different. Elena Martinez moved. Not a calculation. Not a strategy. Pure, unbridled maternal instinct transformed into kinetic energy. What happened next would rewrite the fundamental understanding of biological capability across multiple star systems. The quantum moment beyond physical limitations. Time fractured, slowed, became something more than a linear progression of moments. Human muscle fibers, typically considered weak carbon-based structures, suddenly behaved like quantum-entangled power transmission systems. Calcium-reinforced skeletal structures transformed into living hydraulic mechanisms. Neurological pathways became superhighways of instantaneous decision-making. Krell Voxnar's quantum-level tracking systems captured data that would require centuries of analysis. Muscle fiber contraction rate 782% above standard human capacity. Skeletal stress resistance increased by 1,200%. Neurological response time 0.03 milliseconds. Adrenal response exponential beyond any recorded mammalian standard. Elena's hands, those fragile appendages typically used for delicate manipulations, became quantum leverage points. She gripped the delivery truck's undercarriage and lifted. Physiological breakdown of the impossible. Total vehicle mass 3,200 kilograms, lifting force required approximately 31,360 newtons, standard human lifting capacity 500 to 600 newtons. Elena Martinez generated 32,000 newtons. The laws of biological physics shattered. The alien perspective, quantum disbelief. For precisely 7.3 seconds, no one spoke. Krell Voxnar's tracking systems continued recording, but his cognitive processes had essentially short-circuited. Marcos Stellar's tactical algorithms ran emergency recalibration protocols. Lyra Zenith's medical scanners cycled through impossible data sets. Elena Quantum broke the silence. Replay, she commanded her systems. Confirm visual interpretation. The footage repeated. A 62-kilogram human female, lifting a 3,200-kilogram vehicle. Instantaneous muscle response. Zero child injury. Marcos was the first to verbalize. That is not possible. His statement carried the weight of centuries of galactic biological research. Humans were supposed to be fragile, breakable, limited. This was something else entirely. The aftermath shattering scientific paradigms. Dylan Martinez, completely oblivious to the cosmic significance of what had just occurred, simply looked up at his mother and asked, "Can we get ice cream now?" Elena, her breath slightly ragged, muscles still trembling from the impossible exertion, smiled. "Absolutely, sweetie." Official documentation compilation. Krell Voxnar's preliminary report began with a single, unprecedented notation. Human capability assessment, complete scientific revision required. Lyra Zenith's medical analysis revealed statistical anomalies that would require centuries of research. Physiological shock indicators. Muscle fiber density increased 427% during stress event. Neurological response time, quantum level efficiency. Adrenal response beyond any known biological mechanism. Bone density, temporary molecular restructuring detected. Marcos Stellar's tactical assessment was equally unprecedented. The human female demonstrated capability that transcends current understanding of biological limitations. Potential threat level undefined. Deeper implications. Elena Quantum's multiple eyes tracked every microscopic detail of the incident. Something fundamental about human biology had just been revealed, a variable that defied every known scientific model. "It's not strength," she muttered. "It's potential. Unrealized, unquantified potential." Epilogue: cosmic recalibration. The report would eventually reach the Galactic Peacekeeping Coalition's highest councils, not as a minor incident report, but as a fundamental re-examination of human potential. Elena Quantum's final annotation became the most quoted scientific statement in a millennium. Humans are not a species defined by their current capabilities, but by their infinite potential to transcend them. The observation team's collective understanding of humanity had been irrevocably transformed. What they had witnessed was not merely a physical event, but a quantum leap in biological comprehension. Humans were not weak. They were waiting. 6 standard galactic hours after the incident, Elena Martinez was buying her son ice cream, completely unaware that she had just rewritten the fundamental understanding of biological capability across multiple star systems. Dylan licked his chocolate cone, utterly oblivious to the cosmic significance of his near-death experience. "Mommy," he asked, "can we get sprinkles?" Elena smiled. "Always, sweetie, always." The universe watched and learned. Beyond the singular moment of extraordinary strength lay a deeper mystery, the intricate genetic tapestry that made such a moment possible. Elena Martinez represented more than a statistical average. Her genetic profile was a complex symphony of adaptive potential, a biological masterpiece that defied conventional understanding. Genetic markers of extraordinary potential. Detailed genomic analysis would later reveal. 1. Adaptive stress response gene cluster. A unique mutation in the ACTN3 gene. O. Enhanced muscle fiber recruitment capability. O2.7x standard stress response efficiency. 2. Neurological plasticity indicators. O. Unprecedented synaptic connection density. 40% higher neural pathway flexibility. Rapid neurochemical adaptation mechanisms. 3. Metabolic efficiency markers. Mitochondrial DNA variant increasing energy conversion. 63% more efficient cellular energy production. Accelerated tissue repair and regeneration potential. The evolutionary puzzle. Marcos Stella's tactical analysis began to shift from dismissive to genuinely intrigued. This isn't just an individual anomaly, he muttered, reviewing the genetic data. This is evolutionary potential. Lyra Zenith's medical scanners cross-referenced thousands of genetic databases. The results were unprecedented. Elena's genetic structure suggested not just individual adaptation, but a species-wide potential for transformation that could rewrite everything known about biological evolution. Technological and environmental context. Maple Grove, the suburban landscape where this cosmic revelation occurred, represented more than a simple geographical location. It was a microcosm of human environmental adaptation. Geological surveys revealed a complex ecosystem. Soil composition: 60% clay, 25% silt, 15% sand. Underground water table fluctuating between 3 to 7 meters depth. Seismic activity potential moderate, 0.4 on regional instability index. The environment itself seemed to be a testing ground for biological resilience. Technological monitoring systems. The alien observation team's surveillance represented the pinnacle of galactic technological achievement. Krell's electromagnetic camouflage unit. Quantum disruption field: 99.9997% visual and sensor spectrum concealment. Thermal signature suppression: absolute zero detection probability. Quantum entanglement communication: instantaneous multispectrum data transmission. Lyra's medical tracking systems. Cellular level bioscan resolution. Predictive physiological response modeling. Quantum state health assessment capabilities. Marcos tactical surveillance protocol. 0 degree environmental monitoring. Microsecond response time calculations. Threat assessment algorithms with 0.0001% margin of error. And yet, with all this technological sophistication, they had missed the most fundamental truth about humans. Psychological dimensions of maternal instinct. What no technological system could fully comprehend was the quantum variable of human maternal instinct. Elena's response wasn't just a physical reaction. It was a complex interplay of neurological threat assessment, instantaneous decision-making, physiological stress response, emotional quantum entanglement. The moment Dylan was threatened, Elena's entire biological system transformed into a living, breathing survival mechanism. Broader implications. Elena Quantum's research suggested something profound: human potential was not linear. It was exponential, situational, driven by emotional and psychological triggers that defied conventional scientific understanding. "We've been measuring their capabilities," she explained to her stunned colleagues, "when we should have been studying their potential." Galactic response and philosophical revolution. The report would trigger a fundamental re-evaluation of interspecies classification. Humans were no longer a species to be monitored. They were a species to be understood, to be respected. The galactic paradigm shift. The incident in Maple Grove was more than a singular event. It was a cosmic revelation that would ripple through the fabric of interstellar understanding. Diplomatic tremors. The Galactic Peacekeeping Coalition's initial response was a mixture of confusion, terror, and unprecedented scientific curiosity. Emergency councils were convened across multiple star systems, holographic representations of various alien species flickering into existence. Primary concerns. 1. Potential human threat level. 2. Implications for existing interstellar protocols. 3. Reassessment of human classification. Krellvox now found himself presenting evidence that would fundamentally challenge everything known about biological potential. "This is not an isolated incident," he reported to the High Council. "This represents a systemic capability that we have grossly underestimated. Psychological warfare potential. Marcos Stella's tactical analysis took a dark turn. If humans could generate such extraordinary capabilities under emotional stress, what other potential lay dormant? Tactical assessment highlights emotional triggers as performance enhancers, unpredictable biological response mechanisms, and potential for instantaneous physiological transformation. The implications were terrifying and fascinating. The human variable beyond biological limitations. Elena Quantum's research began to paint a startling picture of human potential. The lift was not an anomaly. It was a glimpse. A window into a species that didn't just adapt to environments, they rewrote the very rules of biological engagement. Neurological complexity. Advanced scanning revealed layers of neural complexity previously unobserved. Synaptic connections that functioned like quantum computers. Emotional states that could trigger physiological metamorphosis. Adaptive mechanisms that defied traditional evolutionary models. Humans are not a species, Elena concluded in her groundbreaking report. They are a potential waiting to be unleashed. A personal narrative beyond the moment. Elena Martinez remained blissfully unaware of the cosmic significance of his near-death experience. To him, it was simple. Mummy saved him. That's what mummies do. Elena continued her life, teaching, raising her son, unaware that she had just become the focal point of the most significant biological discovery in galactic history. The observation team's transformation. Something fundamental had changed in the alien observation team. Krell's clinical detachment had been replaced by genuine curiosity. Marcos' tactical assessments now included human potential as a primary variable. Lyra's medical databases were being completely reconstructed. Elena Quantum had found her life's research a species that defied definition. The aftermath. 7.3 seconds of absolute, quantum-level silence. Krell's tracking systems continued recording. But his cognitive processes, short-circuited. Dylan looked up, completely unaware of the cosmic significance of what had just occurred. Can we get ice cream now? Elena, muscles still trembling from the impossible exertion, smiled. Absolutely, sweetie. The revelation. Somewhere in the universe, established scientific paradigms combusted. Humans were not weak. They were waiting. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The philosophical implications. What does it mean to be capable? The humans had an answer that no other species comprehended. Capability is not a fixed state. It's a fluid potential, waiting to be unleashed by necessity, emotion, and will. The universe watched, and learned.